Gene's on the scene. Um, I just wanted to do a quick video to kind of clear up some of my earlier work before I move on to anything else, so that we can, start out with a clean slate. And anytime I come across something new that may have affected something old, I try to bring you that too. Just bring you all the information. I'm not trying to convince anyone of anything here. I just know not everyone, spends their extra time on the internet looking at film theory and facts and figures, and I just wanted to bring you all the information I can so you can come up with your own opinion. And one of the things I talked about before was movies being changed into television shows, being reformatted so that they could be done cheaper and maybe bringing more money for the studios, which is what they're after. They're business after all. And how that would affect the movie theaters. And of course, with what we've seen recently, we kind of know now. And here's the thing: I realized that these movies that they had changed into television shows, there's a good reason why. And the two movies I'd mentioned were Boba Fett. The Boba Fett movie was changed into The Mandalorian, and the Obi-Wan Kenobi movie was turned into the Obi-Wan Kenobi series, which we still haven't seen yet. But I realized that was because those are Star Wars movies, and like them or love them, the truth is they've underperformed. Disney's not really happy with the returns that they've seen on their Star Wars movies, and they're just bringing everything to a stop, stopping all the movies, and they just want to do TV for a while, and I think that's a great idea. Because I've never made no secret about it, I do not like the direction these have went. And again, no matter what you think about it, Part 7 brought in more than $2 billion, and Part 9 barely limped across the $1 billion line. So $1 billion less worth of people went to see 9 than 7. Somewhere along the way they lost $1 billion in sales. That's a good time to stop and take a look around and see what's going on. But ultimately, I think that once movie theaters open back up, people are going to, I know the film studios are going to want to show at least their big movies there. I don't mind watching a comedy or something on television, but if it's a big special effects extravaganza, I need to go to a movie theater, where I can see that on a big screen. And movies make a lot more money at the theaters than they do streaming for obvious reasons. There's 4 walls and 3 doors, and you got to be on fire to go out of 2 of them. But that one door is very closely watched by someone that you have to pay to go through that door. So every person that goes into that movie theater has to pay, and that obviously makes a lot more money than showing it at home where everybody can sit around and watch it. So I think once things get back to normal, most film studios are gonna want to show their big theaters back in movies. It's not gonna be long for theaters are killing it again. On to the second thing. I talked about movie budgets in one of my videos, and I saw on a question and answer site someone who is in the business. He's a production story producer, something I've never heard of, but I mean that don't mean he's not. I'm sure he does have something to do with the film industry. But anyway, he said that first of all, he said something that really surprised me, and something I know is true, that the numbers you get at the Numbers and Box Office Mojo and all that about budgets and how much movies made, he said that doesn't mean anything. That's just what the studios, will put down for their maximum benefit, whatever's going to look best for them, that they can conceivably convince people of. So a budget may be way more, maybe way less. Who knows? But it's really the only thing we have to go by. So it's really what I go by, and but it's a estimated guess, educated guess at best. So but the other thing he said is that movies aren't responsible for their advertising budget. Now, he did freely admit that a lot of times the marketing budget is equal to the production budget. So if a movie costs $200 million to make, it's going to cost $200 million to put it in theaters. But he said that those movies weren't responsible for paying back their production budget. They were responsible for paying back their production, but not their marketing budget. And he said the reason why is because that comes out of a big fund. There's like $1 billion, let's say, in this fund, and you have a $200 million movie. Well, it'll just come out of that fund, and then at the end of the quarter, if you've made 10 movies, they'll add up all the money that all those movies have made, and just take the the budget back out of that. So each movie, and that makes sense. That's a good idea. That way, if one of your movies doesn't do well, doesn't do good enough to pay back all the money that it costs to put it out there, these other movies can make up for it, and it doesn't look like you lost money. That's just a money trick. That's what do you call it, like accountant stuff. In the real world, your movie still lost money. Okay, your other movies had to pay for it, but your movie still lost money. And he said, well, the money was there; it was going to get spent on something anyway. So it's yeah, but it could have got spent on a good movie that would have made its money back. So no, if a movie does bad enough that it doesn't make back what it cost the studio to put it out there, believe me, they're going to notice. So, and in a case like Star Wars, that's the only movie Lucasfilm made that year. So I'm not really sure, unless Marvel or somebody was going to help them pay their losses. I don't know where that money would have come from. But the last thing I wanted to talk about real quick was Gone with the Wind. Now, this is the second time I've talked about this movie, and I don't want there to be any confusion. I don't like this movie, okay? I don't think anyone with an ounce of testosterone in their body likes this movie, because this isn't a historical movie about life in the antebellum South. It's not a story about the Civil War. It's not even a Western. This is a chick flick, okay? This is about this chick, Scarlett O'Hara, and over 3 hours, her character arc is she goes from just kind of entitled bitch to just mean old bitch, and there's really no story there. But you can't argue with with results. And I got a little cheat sheet here, and I just wanted to go over some of the things about this. There were like 3 things I remember from Gone with the Wind. And one of them was that amazing shot of Atlanta burning, which was a practical shot. That was really stuff on fire behind those people. And those were, the way they did that at the studio, they had some old facades. It's a little side story, but that's like whenever they do a Western, and it just shows the front of the building, that's a facade. So they burned a bunch of those, and the big thing in the back burning was the wall from the original 1937 King Kong. Burned it down, and it's in the back of that shot of that movie. And the director, several people directed this thing, but the director that got credit was Victor Fleming in 1939. This movie was 238 minutes long, so I don't think anybody that isn't a camel has seen this movie beginning to end. I know I haven't. I don't have the interest or the ability to sit there that long and watch a movie. I don't know if I want to do anything that long. But again, with a budget of $3,850,000 worldwide, this thing brought in $390 million. That's just unheard of. That was $41.5 million at home, domestic, and the U.S. population, $1,400,000 domestically. And when the U.S. population was only 130 million, with tickets at a quarter apiece, this thing would have sold around 5.5 million tickets, more than 5.5 million tickets. That is just unheard of. you know. And if we run this through the old inflation calculator, I mean, it's insane. This comes up to like $7 billion. If this movie was made today, it'd be like $7.2 billion. It would easily top the charts, and they don't make movies like that anymore. Movies will never make that kind of money again. You know, on a budget of what did I say, $3,850,000, it brought in $390 million. That's 100. It made its budget back 100 times. You know, and let's look at one of the big, one of the big sellers today. Again, you know, Disney's. They gave $4 billion for just the right to make the Star Wars movies, and the first one, which is the second most successful movie in terms of budget to profit, and it was made for $11 million and brought in $775 million in 1977. That's more than 70 times. It made its budget back more than 70 times, and under Disney, you know, their most successful movie was Force Awakens, which was $306 million to make. So, and it brought in $200 million, so it made its budget back about 7 times, you know, and that's one of the biggest money-making movies in history. So, the amount of physical dollars it brings in doesn't really translate to how much money these studios made, you know. That's where the real money is budget towards profit. And that's why so many, how do I say this? The most successful movies, actually the most successful movie in history is a movie about Debbie and what she does and who she does it with. And that movie was made for a couple $100 and made a couple million. So that's where the real money's at. But anyway, well, not in those kind of movies, you know what I mean. Just in a budget towards profit. That's the, if you really want to know how good a movie is done and how much the studio likes it, then that's what you need to look at. And I'm going to be getting into that in my next video. I'm finally going to start talking about why movies are the way they are. And money has a big part to do with it, you know. It's, what can we do to make some money? So anyway, that's it for now. Thanks for hanging out. I really appreciate it. And stay safe. God bless. And I'll catch y'all next time. Later.